People expect consequences to be loud. They expect explosions, confrontations, endings. But the most damaging moments often arrive quietly, and then leave quietly too. Nothing happened after the whisper. No shouting. No doors slammed. No dramatic turning point. Just a silence that settled into the house like dust. For next part, please subscribe my channel and like the video. And dust, if you let it sit long enough, changes everything. The next morning felt unreal. I woke up early, like always. Made tea. Stood at the kitchen counter. When my son walked in, he smiled. A normal smile. "Morning, Mom," I smiled back. And in that moment, I realized how powerful pretending can be. We talked about ordinary things. The weather. Plans for the day. But underneath every word, there was something unspoken. Not heavy enough to name. Not light enough to ignore. Just there. Our home hadn't changed. Same furniture. Same walls. Same familiar sounds. But the air felt tighter. Like the walls were listening. I found myself avoiding certain rooms. Avoiding certain times of day. Avoiding being alone with him. Not because I was afraid of what he would say again, but because I was afraid of what I might feel. He didn't push. That's what made it harder. He didn't repeat the whisper. Didn't ask questions. Didn't cross any visible lines. Instead, he pulled back. Just slightly. Enough for me to notice. Enough to make me wonder if the silence was his punishment or his protection. Sometimes he would look at me like he was waiting. Waiting for me to say something. And every time I failed, I began questioning everything. Every hug from his childhood. Every time I had comforted him. Every boundary I thought I had kept. Had I been too soft? Too present? Too available? No one warns you that love, when misunderstood, can become something else. No one tells you how thin some lines really are, until you realize you've been standing on one. His father came home one evening. He noticed the quiet right away. "Everything okay?" he asked. "Yes," I said too quickly. My son said nothing. He just sat there, staring at his plate. That's when it hit me. I wasn't just carrying my own guilt anymore. I was carrying a secret that could shatter a family. And secrets don't stay quiet forever. They leak. Through tension. Through glances. Through silence.
One night, my son stopped me in the hallway. "Mom," he said. Just my name. No whisper this time. I felt my chest tighten. "I don't want to make things worse," he said. "But I can't pretend nothing changed." Neither could I. That was the moment I realized something important. Avoidance isn't neutrality. It's a choice. And I had been choosing wrong. I spoke carefully. Slowly. As a mother should have from the beginning. I named the boundary. Not harshly. Not cruelly. But clearly. His face didn't change much. But his eyes did. Something closed. Not anger. Understanding. And understanding can hurt more than rejection. Time passed. The house found a new rhythm. We are polite now. Careful. The closeness we once had is gone. And maybe that's the price of correcting something too late. I live with that. Because motherhood doesn't come with perfect timing. Only imperfect decisions. And the hope that love, when finally placed back in its proper shape, can still survive. People think time heals everything. It doesn't. Time doesn't erase. It doesn't apologize. It doesn't explain. What time does is place distance between you and the moment that broke you. And sometimes, distance is the only kind of healing you get. The years passed quietly. No dramatic goodbye. No sudden break. Just a gradual unfolding of separate lives. My son grew older. Finished his studies. Built a life that didn't revolve around our home. And I let him. Not because I stopped loving him, but because love sometimes means knowing when to step back. We didn't stop speaking, but we stopped sharing. Our conversations became lighter, safer. Weather. Work. Small observations about the world. The deep emotional closeness we once had was gone. And for a long time, I mourned it. But slowly, I understood something important. Not all closeness is healthy. And not all distance is cold. Some distance is necessary. I stopped asking myself why. Why he felt what he felt. Why I didn't see it sooner. Why that moment happened at all. Because those questions had no answers that could change the past. Instead, I asked different ones. What kind of mother do I want to be now? What kind of woman do I want to remain? And how do I live without letting guilt define me?
Forgiveness didn't come suddenly. It arrived in fragments. A quiet afternoon. A memory that no longer burned. A moment when I realized I could think about the past without flinching. I forgave him for being confused. And I forgave myself for being human. That doesn't mean I excuse everything. It means I chose not to carry it forever. Years later, we sat together again. Older, calmer. He didn't bring up the whisper. Neither did I. But something passed between us. An understanding that some things don't need to be spoken again to be acknowledged. He thanked me not for the past, but for the space I gave him afterward. That was when I knew we had both survived. Motherhood is not just about nurturing. It's about recognizing when love needs limits. About understanding that care without boundaries can become harmful. And about accepting that even our best intentions can have unintended consequences. I learned that being a good mother doesn't mean being everything. Sometimes it means knowing when not to be. I live with memory. Not shame. Not fear. Just memory. The whisper no longer echoes. Not because it disappeared, but because I learned how to place it where it belongs. In the past, I am his mother. He is my son, and we are both allowed to move forward.